Hello children, I am Sneha and you are watching my channel Book Junction, and something looks different in today's video, right? So I think today's video is a little bright and colorful. And why is that so? Because I have a ring light in front of me today, and oh my god, I had this dream that someday I'm going to have a ring light and a mic and everything, and today I have all of that. And honestly, today I feel like a proper YouTuber, that I have all the equipment. So that's such an amazing feeling, and I'm just feeling so, I don't know, really excited because I have this ring light in front of me. Oh my god, I will just hug it now. So you have already read the title of this video, and today in this video I'm going to recommend to you some historical books. Now these books have different elements. Some of them are fiction, some of them are true stories. So I guess you will enjoy this video and you will find something that you would want to read. Now historical fiction is a great way to learn about history and to learn about different eras, and I think that's why a lot of people do want to read these books. Personally, I'm not really a fan of historical books. Like, I would just go and read about some era on Google and not really go for a historical fiction book. It's not my favorite genre, but I have read quite a bunch of books and I have liked some of them, which I am going to share in today's video. So I really hope that you will find something. And right now I'm blinded with this ring light. I don't know where am I looking. I just hope everything is all right in today's video. I think I will get used to it really soon. The only thing that I don't have any control over is, and that is noise. So there can be noise because dogs have started barking, people are getting married today, everything is just really chaotic. So just ignore all of that if you can, and let's get into the video and talk about all the books that I have for you. So the first book that I want to talk about in this video is also one of the most amazing books that I read in 2019, and that is The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and it's written by Heather Morris. It is one of the most amazing books that I have read in 2019 and in general. This is what the book looks like. It's a stunning book, and it's not just about the looks of it. Now the book is actually taken from a real story. It's the story of Lael, a man and a woman called Geeta. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing their names in a really bizarre way. I just don't know how to pronounce a lot of names. Really sorry for that. So anyway, the story is about these two people who meet in the concentration camp of Auschwitz, and there they fall in love with each other, and then they do a lot for each other. They sacrifice a lot. They try to save each other. Now the story is not just a love story, of course. The story is about everything that happened in the concentration camp of Auschwitz and how Lael saved a lot of people, tried to do his best to save people, and how they relied on one another in such terrible circumstances. So it's also a book about hope and how people stayed in those camps. And since this is a real story, it also comes with a lot of pictures, a lot of real life anecdotes, and that just makes it so much more amazing, because you know that these two people were there and they came out from there because they eloped, and later on they somehow found each other and then they lived a happy life together. And this book will make you cry a lot, so be prepared for that. It's a really sad book, but then it will give you hope, and I hope that you will love this book. Next up, I have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and I also read this book in 2019. So I read quite a bunch of amazing books in the last year, and this was one of them. I read it in January, I guess. So anyway, this is also a book that is set in the time of World War II. Now this is the story of two really young people. This is the story of Mary Lord, a 6-year-old girl who lived with her father. She was blind, and her father did everything so that she can cope with her blindness. And there is this boy whose name is Werner, who is a German boy and who is really good with equipments and radio, and he can fix anything. So it's the story of these two really little people who come together eventually. It's just such a heartwarming story. It will make you cry, it will make you sad. The only downside of this book is that it's pretty long. I mean, it gets a little boring in between. It starts really slow. So if you can bear with that, I think you will have a really amazing journey with this book. Otherwise, yes, it can get a little slow and you might feel like dumping it, but don't do that. Also, you will get to learn a lot from this book. You will get to learn a lot of things that happened during that time of the World War II, and how people just ran from one place to another, and just everything in general. And I think that's a great way to know different stories and how people survived the war, you know. So that's why I think that this book is really important. I hope you guys will love this book as well. Next up, I have Tales from Indian History by Manu S. Pillai, and this book is one stunning book. This is not a novel. This has different short stories about different characters from our own Indian history. So from different dynasties, different princes and courtesans, just stories of our ancestors basically, and what makes us, you know, who we are today. So if you want to know stories of those people who have been obscured by all the other people, I think you should definitely read this book. Next up, I have Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I hope you can see the book properly. So this is not really the ideal version of the book. There is another version of the book that is like even thicker and a little smaller than this, but this works anyway. So this book is basically about this woman Scarlett O'Hara, and it sort of follows her story, her affair, and just everything about her, how she survived through the Civil War. So I think if you want to read something like that, you can go for this book. Also, this book is like a classic. Everyone who is really interested in literature have read this book sometime or the other. Alright, so the last book in this list is going to be The Boy with the Striped Pajamas. I hope that you can see the book properly. So this is what the book looks like. Now, this book is a really beautiful book, and it will make your heart go all mushy, and it will just crush your heart basically. So this book is about this 8-year-old boy named Bruno, and he returns from his school one day and sees that his maid is packing his stuff up because they have to shift to another place, and they have to leave their house. So now they have to live right beside the concentration camp because his father is a commandant. Now when he goes to that house, he sees that this house is smaller than his previous house, and it's just not as good as everything was in the previous house. But he sees that from his window he can see all these people who are dressed in striped pajamas, and that's the inspiration of the title of the book as well. So he gets really lonely eventually, and then he ends up befriending this boy who lives in the concentration camp and who is behind the fence, and he befriends him, and then a lot of things happen and the consequences are obviously not very ideal. So this is just like a little bit about the book that I can tell you without ruining anything, I guess. So I think this book is really heartwarming. You will feel like crying a lot of times. You will be sad. You will just go through a lot of emotions in general, but at the end of the day you will have a great reading experience. You will get to learn a lot, and you will learn about that time when people lived in the concentration camps, and you know, just about that time in general. So these were all the 5 books that I wanted to recommend from this genre. Now I could have added some other books as well, but the point is I do not like all those books, and since historical fiction or historical books are not my favorite genre, that's why I cannot like just, you know, recommend books just for the heck of it, because then there's no point. I have only recommended those books that I have personally loved to bits, and these are all the books that I have loved. And amongst all these books, I think Gone with the Wind is my least favorite, but other than that, all the books are my absolute favorites. Even Gone with the Wind is a really amazing book, but I won't say that I loved it to bits. That's why I clarified that. So I just wanted to make this recommendations video so that you get to know that even though I don't enjoy this genre that much, even though then I love these books. So if you're someone who loves this genre, just imagine how much you are going to enjoy these books. So I think that's why I clarified it, and I hope that you enjoyed and found this video valuable. If you did, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you are notified with all the notifications, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.